Hello, everybody. What's going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome back to the TNT Podcast, episode... Oh, God.
72? 73?
No, it's got to be 73 or 74. It's not 72.
Has it really been that many weeks since the episode 69 special?
It's been so many.
Jesus.
Well, we also skipped, like... We've also been pretty consistent... Okay, it is 73. Nice. Welcome back. It's been a hot minute.
Nice.
It's been nice.
Oh my god, that was the loudest fucking thing. Since I have the Battle.net launcher open, it just told me Luigi started playing.
Oh my god.
Oh, we gotta recruit him later.
He'll be playing WoW, dude. It's raid night.
Oh,
anyway, welcome to the TNT Podcast. My name's Timpedia, and on my right...
it's Friedman, also known as Andrew, but mostly known as Friedman.
And on my left...
Tyler, also known as Just Tyler.
Just Tyler?
Also known as Big T Anime.
And we're just gonna run through a handful of topics. We got a short show this week because really not a ton of news came out this week. But we got a few things we can talk about.
There's actually kind of bit.
What?
There's some stuff.
There's some stuff.
I didn't say there's nothing. I just said there's not a ton.
Yeah, we're not going to do news for 2 hours, listeners, if that's what you're curious
Yeah, we're not going to do news for 2 hours, and we're just going to kind of take it slow. But to start off with, this is not a long thing, I promise, Tyler, but we should at least touch on Magic for a second, because we are deep into spoiler season. As this one actually seems to be going really well. We're currently in the spoiler season for War of the Spock.
This is the greatest spoiler season I've ever seen.
War of the Cock?
War of the I don't even want to say it in that voice again.
War of the Cock.
War of the Spark.
War of the Spark, and it's, like Freeman said, I don't know if you were kidding, Freeman, but it's been a really good spoiler season, except for the fucking...
We'll do it in chronological order real quick. But,
okay, sure.
So I'm not saying this is the best spoiler season in regards to cards. There are great cards, there are bad cards. That's every spoiler season. But the way they're doing it is insane. So instead of giving out only like the mythics and rares for people to spoil throughout a 2-week period, instead Wizards has handed out cards that make sense in the story's chronological order, and are spreading the spoiler out between 3 weeks and having people gradually reveal cards that matter for telling the overarching story of the set, which has like 3 acts to the story.
Which is really cool. And also, for the last few sets, we've had these story spotlight cards, where there's usually 5 cards that depict a specific event from the story. Wizards kind of realized, hey, when we spoil all of those like right away, the story is kind of ruined the whole way through. But at the same time, we can't have all of our written story articles come out in the 2-week spoiler block, because we can't have our art writers do it that much, and we need content to drizzle to people so that they keep being interested. So what they decided to do was take it over this 3-week thing and have like Act 1, 2, and 3 cards that all represent the same act of action, but different pieces of it. So it's a lot more broken down into just, this card is this event, and this card is this event. There's still some of that, but like we saw the Elder spell. But like, there's a lot more sub stuff going on and sub story beats represented in cards, which is really cool.
And to get at what Tim was hinting at, they tried coordinating really hard to get a lot of different elements all in play to get this spoiler season going, to have a collection of short stories released in the middle of spoiler season, and then to have a full novel release after the set comes out, like really finely detailing what's happening in the set. In order to make that short story bit really exciting, what they did is they took a very pivotal character's death out of being depicted on a card and put it into these short stories, which unfortunately got delayed. So we haven't seen them yet.
Yep.
And now we have vague hints that a character's dead, and then they have a full-on card revealing, haha, so-and-so got brought back to life. And we're sitting there like,
wait, they're dead?
When did he die?
You're talking about Niv Mizzet, right?
I'm talking about Niv Mizzet,
okay.
Yes.
So, in addition, there have been multiple hilarious leaks this season. 2 weeks ago, we talked about how someone had taken that MTGO screenshot. Tyler, I think you remember that, where they showed off like the Nicol Bolas card and like the Gideon card, and someone just screenshotted it and threw it on Reddit like 3 days in. Well, since then, things were going really well, and then Wizards, because pre-release is not this coming weekend, but the weekend after, stores are starting to get pre-release cards. And these include mythics and rares that haven't been spoiled yet.
We got a bunch of
And
Spanish leaks over the
for
weekend.
some weird reason, multiple Spanish stores decided to take pictures of these cards and post them on Reddit.
Wow.
So
I'm
almost
increasing suspicion it's just one store.
every card leaked was in Spanish. That's all we can say for sure. But like, oh look, there's Oketra, the only god who wasn't spoiled yet. Or here's the card that shows the death of a character, or some other thing. Like, here's all this important shit, and it's on a mythic, and it's probably being spoiled about a week before it was supposed to be.
Damn.
And then today, someone posts on Reddit, because apparently, like Freeman said, the novel was delayed. The tie-in novel, I believe, was delayed in its release so that the story doesn't really... No one knows what the details are. But it wasn't delayed everywhere. Some people in other countries have apparently been getting their copies of the novels, and one guy posted a synopsis of the whole thing on Reddit. So I read it. I don't know if Freeman did.
Yeah, I read the whole thing. I couldn't avoid it.
Huh, you
Let's be real.
read it?
So
Oh,
so
my God.
I'll always argue how I don't want to get spoiled on Reddit for stuff, but let's be real here. As much as I love Magic, I don't
It's not about
play
the
Magic
story.
the Gathering
Exactly.
for the plot line. It's something nice on top of the gameplay.
So I
naturally,
haven't...
I read the shit out of what was happening.
Yeah, like, I haven't watched any more Avengers stuff after the trailer. I haven't watched any of the Game of Thrones. I don't watch... You guys might remember this. I don't watch the Game of Thrones previews at the end of the episode for next week. I haven't watched any more Godzilla trailers or anything, because this is all stuff I care about. In Magic, I'm playing the game every Saturday night with my Commander group, but I like knowing the story because it kind of makes things interesting. But if I'm not going to read... I know going in, I'm not going to read these short stories. I used to, back during, like, when we were living in New Jersey and it was, like, Kaladesh and stuff. But now I just don't care, because, honestly, a lot of them don't seem that good. A lot of them aren't written super amazing.
The big thing is that, without spoiling anything like the fact that Tybalt killed Jace, a lot of the spoilers that came out today confirm that the leak today is, like, pretty accurate.
Yeah, so... Someone posted something that sounded pretty ridiculous from this book, Tyler. And then, like, 3 hours later, boom, there's the card that shows the exact event from that book.
Damn.
And everyone's like, well, I guess that leak was real.
Damn, well. Shit.
Anyway, there's only 3 days left of spoiler seasons. There's not that much left. If this happened way earlier, I'd be pissed, but we're on day 12 of 15, so like
it's pretty impressive.
We made it pretty far in before the whole gist of it got ruined.
I will say, just to get not card specific, but Freeman, do you have... So my Commander group has been talking about how powerful this seems, and the overall impression is this is going to be a very powerful set. There is a lot of really cool shit going on in War of the Spark.
Yeah.
Do you see any cards that you want for your Commander decks?
So I'll be honest, not a lot of the Planeswalkers look super great, despite being a Planeswalker set. This is pretty good for Standard. There's one in particular I think is going to start showing up in Modern, the 3-mana
Teferi?
Ashiok.
Oh.
Teferi too, but Ashiok is a really good answer to like Dredge and
we're not
Phoenix,
getting not to get into it, but the fact that it's only sorcery speed is a problem, because those decks usually just win on their turn anyway.
They do, but the fact is this is hybrid, so like Bant can play it.
No, you're not.
Anyway,
yeah.
Point is, there are some cards that are good. The fact that proliferates around means that there's a lot of broken shit that's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
It's not a bad set. There's like we saw the Elder Spell push this week. It means that like people have big
Those
answers to
spells
Planeswalkers.
fucking pushed, dude.
There's a lot of push stuff. Like I can say this. I don't know what's going to be played, but like it's going to be at least 20 cards that see significant play throughout Commander.
I'm not asking about Commander, though. I'm asking about your Commander decks.
My Commander decks? It's iffy. So I play a lot of super linear strategies for a lot of my decks. Ironically, I was going to talk about that stupid Oath of Kaya today. It's a really shitty enchantment. But naturally, I play black-white enchantment.
I got to text that to my buddy, because I told you one of my Commander guys built a dad deck. He calls him Dad.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I should tell him that, like, hey, my buddy from New Jersey who runs Daxos is gonna put the Kaya open.
Like, it's such a half-ass card. I'm like, yeah, but this is a half-ass deck, and it works so well with it. Anyway,
Jeez.
personally, so here's the thing. Almost all the shit I'm putting into decks, it's all going to my blue-green Izuri deck. That thing cares all about 1/1 counters. Proliferate is great. Even that shitty Hummingbird or Thummingbird for 1 more mana might even be worth it. I gotta really look at that deck and see what I would cut, though, because it's a pretty tight list as it is.
Yeah, that's so. I have 2 cards which I am very likely to find space for. One of them is actually a Kess card, which is, you understand how crazy that is, considering how
I already
talk
know
about
the
a
card you're
tight
thinking of
list.
because I was gonna ask you if you were gonna put the card in the deck.
Is it okay? What color is it, Freeman?
I mean, I don't remember. It's been so many cards ago since it was spoiled.
Is it a mythic rare? Is it a creature?
I don't remember.
What do you mean you don't remember? What?
No, it was definitely a spell because it involved bringing shit back from the graveyard.
Oh, then you're not thinking of the same thing I am.
No.
Are you thinking of the finale?
Maybe. Hold on.
The red finale?
Hold on. I don't want to stay on here too long, but there was...
I'm curious now because this is not...
What fucking card was this?
I'll tell you what I was lining up, but you're not giving me what I thought I was going to get.
I don't know. I don't have these cards quite memorized yet, but...
Tisk tisk.
What are you putting in?
Kefnet is almost certainly going to find a place in Kess. Every card is a miracle where you get the original card. He's
yeah.
He's
really
too good. He's kind of going to find a spot. And then the red god. So funny enough, 2 mythic rare god cards are the only 2 cards. I'm like playing Yu-Gi-Oh. 2 mythic rare god cards are like the only things I actually have slots for in decks. The red god is probably going to go in Samut. I've been tinkering around in my head with a lot of other ideas. I mean, Deliverance or Evil is really cool, but like there's a lot to dig into. That's what I'll say. A lot of these are going to have to be like, sit down, look at a deck, and look at the card and think about it. Maybe we'll do another live stream thing, Freeman, or podcast episode where we just sit down and do
Maybe this is a deep set to talk about.
Yeah, because there's a lot here. There's a lot going on in this set, so it's definitely going to be worth talking.
Card I was thinking of.
I don't know. What are you talking about?
I don't remember.
All right. Anyway, it's not super relevant for right now, but yeah, so War of the Spark just definitely seems like it's going to be an absolutely wild set. And as a reference, my commander group, which has one guy who always buys a box or 2, and another guy who's talking about buying his first box, they are now talking about buying a case. Pooling their money and buying a case so that they can save some money and get 6 boxes of this thing. Which I'm not going to be part of because I'm trying to sell cards for money. I'm not trying to spend money on packs that I'm not going to care about.
I'm not... I don't know if that's the right way to go about it.
Yeah, no,
I don't know how many of these cards are going to spike for Commander. Like, this set is big. People are going to open a fuck ton of this set.
Yeah, that's...
So, like, when... I'll bring up Khans of Tarkir as an example. So there were fetch lands in that set. People were ripping them up with these $20 fetch lands. Every single rare that wasn't a fetch land was under $1.
Yep. Even the played ones. Yep.
Even the heavily played ones were like $2 max.
I will say there's no instant sell card like that in this.
Yeah.
I actually also have to ask, Freeman, I'm looking at Mythic Spoiler, and I had forgotten that the Gideon art that leaked way back when, remember when the screenshot leak I was talking about?
Yeah.
He has the the Mythic Edition symbol on his card.
That's right. They're definitely going to do another Mythic Edition.
We heard? But we haven't heard about it.
No.
But, like, what? Are we going to hear about it on Friday? Like,
I'm not sure.
This seems so late for us to announce. Because, Tyler, you remember the Mythic Edition stuff, right? Where it was like, buy a box on eBay that has these special cards in it, and it's...
So
Do you remember us talking about that?
They
talk
might
about
be
that?
not doing
No?
a paper
Kinda.
mythic edition. Like they've
No
invented
way.
the idea of extra art for Arena, and they kind of
But
do
this
the
was
same
on-
thing for MTGO.
But
The
they're
same way
never. Come
Well,
on,
they might.
Friedman.
The last two Timmy edition boxes both sold terribly.
Timmy edition boxes.
Sorry, for anyone who watches Alpha Investments, he
Oh.
refers to them as Timmy edition boxes because not a lot of those cards are played in a lot of other formats other than like. So rewind. There's three
Oh, the
types of
Mythic
bad players.
edition.
There's Spike who's competitive. There's Johnny who does combos, and Timmy who plays big dumb green creatures and like plays dumb
Hey,
stuff.
man.
So he no.
I
it's
know.
not Tim, it's Timmy.
I've heard it
Anyway,
so many
this is-
times.
Mario came up with this. Anyway, so he calls them what are the fucking Timmy edition boxes or whatever.
Freeman,
That-
I think
Point is they're underselling and the Wizards doesn't want to do it anymore.
I think if this art exists on MTGO, we're getting paper. That's it. And what do you mean they sold poorly? They sold out on eBay in like a minute.
Not the second one. They didn't sell out, and that's why.
Yeah, but that's
why it was
because the
bad.
cards were so awful. And they still
Whatever.
eventually sold out. Like, if in this set, Friedman, like, that God Pharaoh, if that God Pharaoh's in this set, or not God Pharaoh, just God, Nicol Bolas God.
God Dragon. Yeah.
Dude, if that thing's in it, like, that's a maybe card for Kess.
I was
Like,
thinking
there
what
are
happens,
so many
what,
in here.
What if they hold off on selling the third mythic box and they just keep an eye on what planeswalkers are played in standard?
No, that takes too
and then
long. The
release it
art
later.
takes too long, and the printing takes too long. It'll be, by the time that would even be possible, Modern Horizons and probably the next set will be out.
And then they save it to launch with a fall set or whatever because they got to do a story.
Then what's
reboot
the
or some
point?
shit
No
after
one,
this.
no one ever cares. No one ever cares. And the
I mean,
Gideon
they have
art
a
already
full another year in
exists.
standard. I mean,
already
Gideon's
have
super
the
clutch.
Gideon.
They know it's going to get played.
But they're not going to be like, okay, we know this half is good and this half is open for interpretation, so let's collect data. Why would they ever do that? They would never do that.
Look, I don't know where the fuck this car is going to be used, but they already have a plan for putting it somewhere.
Anyway,
wouldn't-
let's move off Magic. There's a
Oh,
lot
man,
of
I
good
can
shit
wake
in
up.
this set.
I'm
Yeah.
way too fucking long for a conversation which is only supposed to be 5 minutes.
I know.
Anyway,
Every
Oh,
time.
jeez, that was a 15-minute conversation.
Every time.
Speaking of
Tim,
things that
keep going.
are a big joke to everybody.
You're a joke, Tim.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
So we didn't actually get to talk about this last week, only because obviously we didn't have a show. But hot off the presses last week was the teaser for the new Joker movie, starring Joaquin Phoenix.
Or Commodus, if you ever watched that Gladiator joint.
What?
Yeah, he was.
You
he
mean the
was
movie
Commodus.
Gladiator?
Yeah, and yeah.
Why'd
I
you
said
say
Gladiator.
Gladiator joint? You've made it sound like I thought.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's a
I've
Spike
seen
Lee
Gladiator, but
Yeah, you know, come on, man. Just
anyway, what did you guys think of the
Whatever,
Joker
man.
teaser?
it's interesting. I'm way more intrigued about this movie now based on how they portrayed him in the trailer. This is gonna be,
I'm open to it. Yeah.
'cause I feel like I'm not going to be watching a movie about a supervillain. I'm going to be watching a movie about just like a dude going insane.
A dude with depression.
Yes, I
Man,
I
that's
relate
like
to that.
watching me on the
I
silver
know.
screen.
That's why I said it, because I knew everyone's reaction was, "Hey, it
Depression.
me."
Depression memes are
that's-
hot in our chat right now.
Yeah, the depression memes.
No,
are hot in
that's
general.
everywhere. It's not even just our
Yeah.
chat. Every meme we get has been stolen from Reddit or something like that. It's
That
not like
said, everyone has been enjoying the depression memes lately.
yeah, it's so bad that you guys got me doing it too now, and I was always the holdout
Yay.
who was like, "No, these are bad."
Hey, Tim, you're just as weak as us.
Hell no.
Yay.
No, I agree a lot with that actually, Friedman. I'm a lot more interested. I still don't know if I'm gonna want to go see this in theaters though.
Oh fuck no, I'm not seeing this in theaters, but I'm definitely interested in seeing it at some point.
This certainly seems more interesting than like Suicide Squad did.
Yeah.
And like the look at my gold teeth Joker that we got.
God. That was shitty.
Yeah, let's just forget that happened because even DC wants to forget that
Yeah,
happened.
when are we gonna have like a DC continuity? Because it seems like DC is so all over the place. Like The fact that like Suicide Squad came out 3 or 4 years ago and is getting rebooted already is just the funniest thing to me every time I think about it.
Right.
It's just like, how do you fuck this up?
It's yeah, I don't
Like they couldn't even
understand.
try and piece it back together with a sequel. It had to be a fresh start.
Yeah, James Gunn
they
was
were
like,
just-
"Nah, son, let me do this or I'm walking," and they were like, "Oh
It
shit."
almost looks
Damn.
like this Joker movie isn't gonna be in continuity with that whatever the hell they're doing.
So is it
now.
like Venom now, where it's its own weird thing?
maybe.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Maybe question mark.
Look,
But
all
like,
I
it
know.
looks like it takes place like a while ago though, like almost
mean,
like
it's-
60s, 70s.
I mean, it's formation of the Joker, and that sounds like about the right time for like. Well, I don't know how old the comics are. I shouldn't say anything. Tyler would
All
know
right, so
better.
I'm gonna bring up a controversial idea. So in comics, not every comic is in the same universe. You will have the same characters in different storylines by different authors. Are we ever going to get to the point where we break out of the whole MCU is the ultimate path and say it's okay to have just different superhero continuities?
I don't think Marvel will or ever needs to, but I think everyone else has to.
Yeah, I would say not Marvel, but do you
Yeah.
think DC can embrace that?
Nah, man, I think it's too late for them.
I think
they're trying
DC's
way
just too
hard.
scattershot, where like there's no
Yeah.
firm idea anyway. It'll take them years to set a firm plan in place. Like DC can say, "Oh, our canon is Wonder Woman, Batman versus Superman, but not the actors, but Man of Steel and Justice League, Aquaman, and Joker." But like, the movie-going public of idiots doesn't care about that. They care that people care about Marvel because they've been following. Marvel has done a straight, concise, consistent story, and even when they stumble with less good movies, they never stopped moving forward. DC can't possibly get away in the general sense with already rebooting and taking all these back steps. It's like DC went, our first few steps weren't good. We're just going to redo everything and just abandon. So then you're putting no faith in the people who are the people who are going to see the old getting tossed aside are going to be like, well, I actually kind of like that, and was starting to get marginally invested, even though I recognize the movies themselves weren't good. And then you have the other people who are like, well, I didn't care before. Why do I care now? So unless
It might be better this time. I don't know.
But how many times
How
can
many
like
times
Freeman?
are you gonna
Well,
say?
then how are they going to sell me on Suicide Squad 1 part version 2 when the first one was ass? Like you have to have faith that the new one is going to be better. And if
But-
they didn't think people would have that faith, they wouldn't make Suicide Squad again.
But if they had that faith, they wouldn't have gone back and redone it.
But they do have the faith that if you remake it, it'll be better.
But I'm saying they don't have the faith that the old one had anything even like there doesn't seem to be any sense from them that they are tied to any idea. Like, how can I get invested in new Suicide Squad? Because even if it's good, if someone in a higher up didn't like it, then it's just going to be gone again. It feels like there's all these changing tides in people that
But it
put their own
has less
spin
of a
on it.
barrier to entry than a sequel to a movie someone didn't like.
But
Like a remake of a bad movie has a like. I want you to approach the optics of someone who just hasn't seen any DC movies.
yeah,
You
I
heard
wish.
Suicide Squad 1 was bad.
Yeah.
You heard it was bad, so you didn't watch it. Now there's two paths. They announced we're gonna start over and make a new Suicide Squad. It's brand new cast, new director, new whatever. Or we're gonna make a sequel to that one that no one liked.
I didn't care in the
Which one
first
do you
place,
think
so I'm
the
not going to go
average
see
person
either
is-
of them.
But which one do you think the average person is gonna go to? They're gonna go to the remake.
They're going to go see any movie in theaters because it's big, shiny, dumb,
'Cause
or they just
everybody's
don't
a
care.
sheep.
I don't
Yeah.
know people who go to see sequels to movies that didn't review well.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to... I don't think... Like, Freeman, it feels like we're talking about, like, inches here because it feels like people... Like, yes, there would be probably... Considering Suicide Squad 1 did really well numbers-wise, I feel like a sequel...
Oh, I thought it didn't. I didn't know that.
International, again. It's always international
Okay.
these
It's
days.
China.
I feel like people... Like, the amount of difference between a straight sequel versus the reboot is actually... If we could look into two different dimensions, it'll be more for the reboot, but not actually by that much. I think a lot of people are just kind of falling out of favor with DC And I think a lot of people actually liked the cast and weirdness of the other one, and now they're like, well, that was weird and different. Let's not do that anymore. Because that failed. So let's go back to just watching Marvel.
It's all fucked, man. It's all fucked.
Look, all I know is Endgame comes out next Friday. And I actually care about
Jesus
Endgame
Christ,
because...
this is close.
Yeah. And then me and Tyler are going to sneak out of an anime convention in May and go watch Godzilla.
Yeah, dog.
And it's going to be fucking radical.
We're fucking actually losers.
Dude, not even. Come on, it's
That movie's in
Godzilla.
theaters for a bunch of weekends. This convention is only 3 days. You guys
Freeman,
got your
we'll
priorities
sneak out
all
for
wrong.
3 hours. Okay, Freeman, how many hours in the
I'm
year
just busting your
do
balls.
me and
I
Val
understand
get
why
to
you're
see
making
you
that
guys
decision.
in person?
I understand why you're making this decision. I'm just using this as an opportunity to bust your balls, Tim.
Yeah, I know, but fucking
Yeah, I know.
go Godzilla.
They say he's got to go.
Go Godzilla.
Woo! Yo, we need to play that on the way there.
Oh, dude,
my
of
God.
course we're going to fucking... Come on.
It's fucking real.
Speaking of trailers, though, this is some of my viewers are probably going to be interested to hear what I have to say about these.
Oh, so I didn't see the video game one yet. I saw the other one.
So
I'm gonna watch the video game one in the background while we're talking.
Can I just snap say this? I don't give a fuck about either.
So
I don't give a shit. I watch both of them. I honestly don't care. Both of them did not give me any sort of a new hope.
in the last few days, there were 2 trailers for Star Wars things. There was a Star Wars Episode 9 teaser, the first thing we've seen of the movie. And there was the trailer for Respawn's game, Fallen Order, whatever.
Fallen Order.
I can't believe I actually remembered that name. And
All losers.
I watched both. And I am still not sure how I feel. Because I realize that over time I have just fallen out with Star Wars so hard with anything of the new stuff. Like, ever since Last Jedi, it's gotten only worse, where I just am like, I kind of don't know if I actually love Star Wars anymore. Like, all this new stuff just beats you down so hard, and I just don't care about a lot of it. But man, I think I felt something when I saw that at the end of the Episode 9 teaser, when you see the fucking disc in the ocean. I was like, man, maybe do I feel something a little bit? I don't know. Is that just nostalgia for the stuff I care about? Like, I see Rey doing all this dumb shit with this TIE fighter, and I'm like, this is fucking retarded. Like, God, none of this
I like that part.
There we go.
It's like it started off so
Fucking
weird,
retarded.
and then it turned into like, but maybe, kind of, I don't know. And then we cut to Fallen Order, and I'm just like, Respawn's so good, and it looks like there's wall running in this game. Like, that trailer has fucking wall running in it, like Titanfall.
You know
The
what it
animation
seems,
looks like
though?
Titanfall.
It seems like it could be, from what it looks like. I know we didn't really get any definitive gameplay, but it looked like it might be kind of like a Force Unleashed. I'm getting that kind of
I'm
vibe.
fine with that because you
Maybe.
know what? As much as I didn't like Force Unleashed on a lot of levels, playing it wasn't horrible, and a newer one that isn't made shitty could be really good. I wouldn't mind an action Star Wars game, something new that's not fucking Battlefront and terrible.
Yeah, for real.
But like, how many? Like, can we?
What?
I'm
Tim's
so.
having a fucking seizure right
I
now.
kinda am, like-
an aneurysm.
I feel like so. I've said before. Ever since one of my, well, I say buddies. I met the guy who develops one of my favorite mod series ever, Thrawn's Revenge. This guy's named Corey, and him and his team for like 10 years now have modded Empire at War, the last big strategy game for Star Wars, Sins of a Solar Empire, and I think they've worked on a mod for a different game and another side mod too. And they brought to life a lot of the cool ships from when I was into the expanded universe for things like the Imperial Remnant, and the New Republic. And ever since I saw their model of what a New Republic Nebula Star Destroyer was, I know that sounds really silly, but it's like a pocket Star Destroyer, and I just fell in love with the design. And ever since then, I've wanted to see more of what the New Republic looks like. I'm tired of the Rebellion and the Empire, and I want to see the New Republic. And the only thing we've seen of that is fucking episode 7 and 8. Except it's just the Rebellion again. And I'm at the point where I'm like, man, remember when KOTOR was cool because it was a different time and a different setup than just we're the rebels on the run, there's stormtroopers. And I'm like, it feels like Star Wars grew and grew, and they've decided to reset it all back to zero, and they're not progressing. Like, I know there's that Rebels show and there's the Clone Wars, but like when I went through all this Star Wars stuff for years, and you see this whole breadth of different conflicts or sub-conflicts or like other wars, like the Republic versus the Sith in KOTOR and all this other stuff, and like the New Republic dealing with the Remnant and fracturing, because the Empire, you never see the Empire dealing with anything but the Rebellion. You never see like a system breaking away or like a subsystem like fighting, like declaring open rebellion, because that just didn't happen under the Empire. It was just rebels. But like the New Republic had all this cool different stuff, and it just feels like, man, we've just lost all of that, and it's just, here's another Jedi who, because there's always more who survived Order 66.
Padawan?
There's always more. It's a Jedi. They're all the same thing. He's
No,
gonna
he's
be a
not a
Jedi.
Jedi.
Tyler's gonna be a Jedi.
It even says it's a Padawan.
There's always the Padawan who lived. There's the mentor who's somehow still alive. This is just like Force Unleashed again, except Force Unleashed he was being an apprentice to Vader.
Yeah. It's just different this time. See, it's different.
I know I'm rambling, but
Yeah,
like,
I know. You done? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm so conflicted by all of this. I don't know if I'm gonna see episode 9 in theaters.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
God, it was fucking weird. All right.
It's fine. You didn't miss anything.
I was just rambling for a while. I'm sorry. Anyway,
It's fine.
You guys can talk about the trailer.
Oh no, like
Wait, no.
it's.
Oh, wait, are you trying to move on? Or are you still in Star Wars?
No. You guys can talk about the trailers. Absolutely. I'm sorry.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I thought you were trying to push that.
No, I'm not
Anyway,
trying to push this off.
You know he was in the same sentence when you left.
I know, but I wasn't sure if you were wrapping up your.
I'm being
Yes,
rude.
I'm
I'm being rude as hell. No, it's I get you, right? It's difficult, and I feel like it's a little easier for me to move on because I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I gave this Star Wars franchise like a good second, third opportunity, maybe even more, to like really captivate me again. It just doesn't do it. I really don't care. And you know what? I'm probably not going to see the new Star Wars movie. Like I just don't care enough. And after seeing that trailer, I was like, you know, fuck this. Like I'm not looking forward to it at all. And like this new game too, I might give it a shot, but like honestly, I'm gonna give it a little bit of time. I'm gonna wait and see what the deal is and see some gameplay. If it's good, I'll give it a try. Respawn's pretty decent. But that I'm not gonna, I don't feel like giving EA any more of my money.
That's fair. That's certainly fair. Have you seen the amount of fucking memes of like press X to doubt when EA's like no microtransactions? No
Oh
loot
yeah,
boxes,
that
nothing.
was.
Press X to doubt, and everyone's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, because they made a point to say that, and they wonder why, or everybody, some people wonder why they gotta do that, because no one wants that EA bullshit, and they're lying.
Yeah, EA is always up to something.
Everybody thinks they're lying. Everybody disliked you.
Yeah, I don't trust them.
You know,
They would
there's
literally
no
have to.
transactions, but they're definitely going to have that day one DLC.
They're oh yeah, easy. Speaking of free DLC.
Wait, no, hold on. I gotta get my
Yeah,
take
Freeman
on this.
didn't get to.
Oh
Freeman
shit!
didn't get
That's
to
right. My
get to
bad.
So-
My bad.
First, the movie trailer. I'm really hoping they're just not showing us anything, because this trailer, it has the problem we've talked about with the new trilogy is that it's literally just leaning on what Star Wars has already done. It's not trying to be anything else. We talked about it extensively in the what was it? It was like our what we think about episode 9 episode or episode 8 episode. And here's the thing: the reason I didn't dislike The Force Awakens is because I went in saying, you know, I hope it's a lot like what we've seen, but I hope they set up for something new. And that's what it was. It was just a lot of people say, oh, they just remade A New Hope in a new generation. And I was fine with that because I was under the impression that the first episode is the pivot. It's the let's show you what you love and introduce new characters. And then the next 2 movies are going to do their own thing. And then Rian Johnson came in.
I was just going
like,
to say, you certainly
that.
can't say that as much as people don't like the prequel trilogy is certainly fucking different from the original trilogy.
Yes, it's doing very different things. I respect all but Attack of the Clones for that. That said, after watching 9, it felt like they didn't want to do anything different. It just felt like, here's the same Star Wars. And the parts that were different, like the fucking ramming the ship in another ship, I loved it. But everything else, I didn't like. And it hurt me because I was looking forward to this, what essentially came down to a 2-movie series. And the first movie didn't do anything to excite me for the second one, is what it boiled down to. So seeing this trailer, I just see a lot of flashy CG sequences. I see a lot of, let's just have Luke's narration carry it. And then they have obvious callbacks to Return of the Jedi with them riding on the fucking sandbar thing. And I'm sitting here going, oh no, they're doing it again.
She's on a desert planet again.
And I'm concerned because if they do it again, I'm gonna be angry. And I don't want to be angry at Star Wars.
I don't like me when I'm angry.
Except I know this is what Tim's life is like now, so I don't want to go down that path too. Now that said, regarding the video game trailer, the video game looks pretty nice. I saw a meme post the other day that they don't understand what the fuck EA is doing. They take BioWare, a company known for their single-player games, and have them develop a Destiny clone that's multiplayer only. Then they go and they take, what's their name? Respawn, who's just great at multiplayer games, and they give them the Star Wars single-player game.
Now, I will say, the only thing about that is that Anthem was in the works for a very long time.
Yeah, the actual reason is different development timelines, and I don't think they had, like, purchased Respawn when Anthem began development.
I'm pretty sure when Anthem was originally started, because Respawn was bought since we moved to Ohio, but apparently Anthem's development cycle was like 6 years back.
Yeah,
so,
but again, this is just spicy meme, not an actual logical argument.
It was a good meme, though.
That said, I'm not going to buy this day of, but I'm going to keep a close eye on reviews because I'm very curious about this.
That's kind of where I am.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I've been wanting a new Star Wars game for so long, but I need to see it. I think I would buy it day of if I see a gameplay that looks interesting. If I see a game that doesn't look like Battlefront.
If only this game came out on Nintendo Wii where I could play with that stupid controller.
Apparently that version is like the best version of Force Unleashed, actually. No joke, like every version that wasn't the PC, Xbox, and PS2 version are like different games. There's like 4 versions of Force Unleashed in the world.
Damn.
Anyway, speaking of free content, like Tyler was saying.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's Tuesday. That means small indie company Blizzard pushes out patches to all of their games, including today's patch for Overwatch. Tyler, do you want to go, or should I just talk about it?
I was like, honestly, I only watched the trailer for it because I saw it in my subscribe feed. I was like, wait, what? There's gonna be a new like co-op story mission? Oh man, it's gonna be like gangster based. That's so cool. Oh, it's coming out tomorrow. What? Oh my god, I gotta play it. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it.
So Papa Jeff had his developer update this week. We haven't had one in a while, and everyone's getting concerned that just developer updates weren't a thing anymore. And Jeff is like, no, they are. We just haven't had anything to talk about in a while. But I think it was like 3 weeks ago when we were first talking about the Overwatch Archives event, which happens every year around this time. There were rumors that they weren't going to have a new event this year just because the website had been updated to say 2019, but no other assets were updated. So I was like, oh, fuck, they're just running literally the same PvE event from last year. It turns out it's Blizzard Smart and just doesn't release all the assets to the website, and someone just did a blanket update for all this year's events, moving the date from 2018 to 2019. So they are doing a new PvE event called Rising Storm. The plotline of it is so 6 years before the start of the game of the Overwatch game. This is an Overwatch team mission. You play as Mercy, Winston, Tracer, and Genji. And people are a little butthurt because all but Winston had been featured in the previous two PvE events. But you're going to play as the four of them, and you're dealing with this like gangster banker dude who essentially funds Talon, the evil group that Overwatch is fighting. And they've showed off some parts of that. It looks like this might end up being like a 3 control point map when it's used for like the PvP side of it. But on the PvE side, so for the event that came out now, it looks like there's a couple capture points. There's a escort component to it, and supposedly there's a boss fight. I haven't seen anything about it, but I did see some of the cinematics, and it looks super cool. And we're probably gonna play it right after this podcast.
Hell yeah!
Also, the skins are pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't check out the skins yet.
Some were good, some were kind of shit. But I also hardly played this event last year, so I'm mostly in it just to get some of last year's skins.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I haven't played Overwatch in a while too, so this will be a good excuse to play it for a little bit.
Hell yeah!
Because I've been playing Witcher 3 forever, which I beat, by the way, Tim.
What?
Plot twist.
You weren't even that far in last time we talked about it on like Thursday.
Yeah, well, I beat it, so...
even the DLC?
Nah, that's like, we're talking tens more hours in, man, come on.
Well, that's why I was so shocked, because you didn't beat it yet.
Yeah, no, to clarify, I beat the main story.
Which ending did you get? What happened? Just give me a broad stroke of what happened in the ending.
Yeah, without spoiling it.
Turns out I'm a good father. And we are still hanging out.
Oh, you got a different ending from me. I got the middle ending.
Oh.
I sent her off. I was like, goodbye, daughter.
No, I said, daughter,
go save
I love
the world.
You. Please be with me
Ooh,
forever.
Damn. Tyler played the selfish... So you had the wintry card. You had the wintry ending, right?
No. I got the, There's not a wintry ending.
No, but I mean, doesn't it literally take place in winter? Or am I thinking of my ending?
You might be thinking of your ending. My ending, I get a sword from my daughter. I bring it to her, and she's like, yo, let's go hunting. And I'm like, that's my girl. And then that's how it ends.
That's awesome.
Proud father.
I forget what happened in mine, but yeah, I was like, goodbye, daughter. Go rule the world as a not shitty person.
Oh, yeah, I know that ending. Nah, fuck that. Because I told her real father, I was like, nah, I'm a real dad now.
I made one bad decision, I'm pretty sure. I think I made like one wrong line where I like told him I'd bring her back or something, even though I thought I was lying, but I wasn't enough.
Oh, I did that. I said I was going to bring her back, and I was like, psych, nigga, you said that.
Well, I'm very glad to hear you finished it. Tyler, what out of 10 is Witcher 3 so far, since you're still
11.
not done? Okay, good.
This is a game everyone should play. I don't care who you are.
I agree.
For just quality alone.
Yep.
Like, this is how a real RPG should be done. This is how Mass Effect should have been made. I'm not gonna
And you know
lie.
what? It's not perfect. There's like a lot of inventory slush that just fills up as always.
Yeah.
But it's like everything. I'm excited for you to play the two big DLCs because now you're gonna explore.
How long does it take to beat them?
At
Like
least
these small DLCs are really like.
No, there's two main expansions.
Wars.
There's two main expansions in the game. First one's probably only about 10 to 15 because Tyler, you know what I'm talking about. You're basically opening up the northeast of the map to do a few quests and a bunch of new mini stuff. But the second one opens up an entire region that you travel to, along with its own new characters, main quests, side quests, blah 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 blah. That one's probably more like 20 or 30. But the first one is like the tightest story content.
I still got like a hot minute. Like to go through.
I'm really impressed that you finished it though, because that is, I mean, it's important to remember that, hey, yeah, there is really good shit. The main base of
Halfway
that game is still
through, I
great.
switched to Death March.
Difficulty?
Yeah,
Damn.
How high up is that on the difficulty scale?
the highest.
Oh damn.
It wasn't Aiden yelling at you or something, or saying a while ago?
Everybody's, you gotta play on Death March.
Yeah, I didn't play on Death March. Fuck
Play.
those.
And I'm like,
Fuck
all
them.
right, fine.
So you know what's funny? Val and I actually booted it up on the Xbox One on the TV last week. And I'm like, man, I can't play games on the TV anymore. I need to be right in front of the screen on the computer. I just have been so desensitized to playing on a TV. I just like can't do it anymore. It just feels
that's all
fucking
I played
weird.
it on. I played it on my TV.
I know you're used to it. I play too many games on the PC these days. Anyway, we should switch topics because we kind of got off Overwatch. Oh, also, breaking news. Apparently, in an interview, Kathleen Kennedy, the head of Lucasfilm, said that there is a Knights of the Old Republic project in development.
Oh yeah, I heard something about this last week. But there was like a leak of an announcement.
I saw that there was a leak, but I just saw her in an interview addressing there is some kind of project. I don't know what it is, though. I don't know if that's sweet. That's the problem.
Well, maybe. So a couple weeks ago, I told her they were looking for new, like, game dev managers.
Yeah, that wasn't it. It's people think that since it's Lucasfilm, it's more likely to be a TV show or one of the new trilogies they're working on for future.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually horrifying. But anyway, let's switch topics.
Yeah, topics.
I don't know what most of this is about, so go ahead, Freeman.
Oh, this is... Wait.
Yeah, I didn't put this in here.
That's me.
You did? Oh. Okay.
Go for it, just Tyler.
So this is mostly... Well, you guys know about the whole Epic Store deal, right? We didn't talk about that last time, right?
We did a little bit. I mean, we've talked about it ever since Metro switched.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, it's been getting, like, worse now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And this is kind of old news for the Outer Worlds. So Outer Worlds just, like, confirmed. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Because we're talking about Borderlands 3. And I was like, yeah, it's confirmed. But then, like, that next day, it's like, oh, yeah, it was like 100%, like...
6 months exclusive on PC.
6-month exclusive on PC. And, like, this is kind of, like...
I'll be right back.
A big thing for me. Okay. How there's like this thing going on where I guess the developers are kind of like throwing it back at the consumers, and it all kind of started. I saw a thing with Boogie, the YouTuber, and how he spoke out against Epic Games, like we really wouldn't mind, we would love competition, but basically when it comes down to it, like, your store sucks. And he said it in like a completely nice way about it. And then they're like, nah, you're just being an entitled piece of shit, basically.
You can't attack the fans. Like, so I know loosely the video you're talking about because I saw someone linked in a Reddit discussion thread. But the idea is, if you're not open to criticism, you just come off as very like, well, I'm not the one who's wrong, you're wrong. And that's what it looks like here.
It does. It just feels like really childish shit. And it's like, you know what?
So what did Boogie do? Because I know we were talking about Epic Store, but I also saw that Boogie's name is on this too.
Yeah, he basically made it, and like this kind of like, well, I just put his name down because this is kind of like the start of what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
How he, basically after the Borderlands 3 announcement, he kind of made like a kind of critique of how he felt about it. Right? Basically criticizing the fact that, Epic doesn't have all of these things to compete with, with Steam, how its lack of messaging features, a cart, fundamental things like a cart, like, come on, man, reviews, all these things that, Steam has that Epic wants to get into, but instead of trying to improve their store, they just throw money at it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're hoping that it sticks. And, they're doing a lot of good things for the developer in terms of, giving more money back and like guaranteeing sales, right? Because I don't know if we mentioned this the last time, but Epic guarantees a certain amount of copies sold for the developer So even if like, you know, they don't like devs don't meet like, you know, an expected amount, they at least have some kind of guaranteed money coming from the Epic store.
Hmm.
And they also get a huge discount if they keep it exclusive, you know, like a timed exclusive or whatever, and if they use the Unreal 4 engine.
Yeah, I think they
You get a
waived the
large
licensing fees for Unreal 4.
Mm-hmm. So that's a big thing. And honestly, like, you know what, I would be all right with it if they, you know, that's their platform, that's their thing. But like even Origin is better than Epic. And the fact that Epic had all this time to put in all of these, you know, different things into it, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, we're just gonna throw money at devs just to have them come and, you know, hang out at our house. And then I don't know what like why devs are arguing with the consumer. It's like, why are you gonna argue at your money?
Hmm.
I'm not saying people should feel entitled. I feel like there should be a conversation. I don't feel like there's a conversation really taking place or people are listening. Genuinely, people are upset, right? And it's like in the past, like people have said things about like, oh, Origin is shit. You know, Ubisoft is shit. Like we're not gonna use it. But there's never been this kind of backlash before about a launcher store, a launcher store before, ever. It's never been like this.
Hmm.
I don't know if you guys have seen anything like it, like at all, but
I
Well,
like
remember
it's
people
getting out
being
of hand.
super butthurt about Origin when it happened, but it was one of those like everyone's saying I'm never going to use it just because it exists, and then lo and behold, speak louder than the platform.
well, a lot of them are also like Ubisoft at least is nice and like, hey, I just launch underneath games you buy on Steam. Like a lot of people don't. I personally barely boot up Origin except for when I'm specifically playing a game on Origin. But Steam boots every day on my computer, and then like again Blizzard launcher whenever I play Overwatch with you guys once in a blue moon, or any of the other things that I only play for a specific game. Steam is the only one that just opens naturally. And while I don't actually think I'd be that worried about Epic Store, except for all the things you hear about, like how much worse the security is and how much worse all the other features are, then it's an
Yeah,
issue.
the security is shit because of all the people make fake accounts for Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have things like a cart. Right? Like it's missing all of these functions that like make it a
Mm-hmm.
good
I don't understand. They
social
don't have a
slash
cart. Like
gaming.
for my fucking database classes in college, like a cart was a minimum requirement to pass that course for making a storefront.
No, yeah, right. You'd fucking think. And like I said, the Epic's been doing this forever. Like they've been like letting people use their, you know, their software for free for years, and like the Epic Store like isn't anything new. It's been out for a long time in terms of like tech biz. I was using it when I was in college like 6 years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
like I just want to know like what's the deal, right? Like what's their excuse that they can't add these features? And you know, Boogie makes a great point. Like we don't want you. Like we want competition. We as consumers want competition, right? Because then it's good for us. It's good for the economy. Like we want better features and better stuff like in our games and our applications and all that. Like we don't want to see like you throwing money at something and hoping it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz I'll tell you right now, all my friends and this is me included. I was kind of excited for Borderlands 3 and like I was like apprehensive about it. I was like, "Ah, it might not, but like guaranteed I'm not buying Borderlands 3 until it comes out for Steam." And like that's just me voting with my wallet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you have that resolve. A lot of people don't.
No,
That's what I'm doing. I'm not buying Metro until it's on Steam.
yeah, they're like fuck it, but no, and Outer Worlds, I was very excited for Outer Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Outer
Super
Worlds looked
duper.
really cool. I'm waiting for that too. That can wait too. And viewers, listeners, I would also like to know how you guys feel about this whole thing. Do you think it is a fair thing? I mean, obviously, it's they're well within their right, but do you think it's like something that's not a big deal, or do you feel like it's something that like we as consumers should maybe speak out a little bit more against?
I mean, I'm speaking out the only way I really can with my wallet.
Yeah, yeah. I would like to know other people's aside my friends because I would say that we're all pretty like-minded for the most part.
Yeah, you definitely want to hear the voices of those outside your sphere of influence to get a better idea. And that's not just regarding this epic issue, that's regarding everything in life. It's always good to hear the other side. So listeners,
Seriously.
if you have any opinions, feel free to leave them in the comments.
Speaking of opinions, I don't know how that even ties in, but whatever.
Yeah.
That segues.
So
PC stuff.
So Video
Speaking
Game
of
Donkey had a
computers.
very strong opinion about this particular JRPG. See how good my impression is. Octopath Traveler. So Square Enix has really been milking it because it did well on Switch. They're releasing some like mobile game bullshit thing. We don't want to talk about it. But then they also announced that in June it's going to be coming to PC, which opens us up to the idea of mods for it. So don't know what's going to happen. If you haven't played it, it's like if you've played any of the Final Fantasies before 10 and you liked the turn-based combat, or for some reason you played 6 or earlier and you really like the pixel graphics, Octopath Traveler is right up your alley. I expect that it's going to be at full retail price because Square Enix is a piece of shit. But it's a fun game. I haven't beaten all of it. I still want to, but definitely go check that out when it launches. I believe this one's on Steam. Let me check this real quick. Because they seem to have a good...
Square Enix doesn't have a launcher, do they?
No. Well, they have their own
fucking
storefront. I don't
surprised.
think they have a launcher. But they're pretty close with Steam, given how much their shit is on there. Yes, they already have a listing for Octopath Traveler on Steam, so it will be available through that.
So you can buy every
June
Final
7th is the
Fantasy
date they've
on
locked
there.
in. You can buy pretty much all of them on there now. Yeah, interesting.
Are you speaking of it? Have you? I've been meaning to play it, but honestly, I kind of lost a little bit of interest in it. Like, how far have you gotten through?
Octopath?
Yeah.
I finished almost every character's second story, and every character has 4 story sections. So I'd say I'm about at the halfway point, which is where I usually pause a lot of JRPGs and then forget to pick them up. Thankfully, with this game, each of the character stories are independent. So there's not this huge overarching plot that you really need to follow up on. If you need to, it's really easy to read up on, what happened in chapter 1 and chapter 2 for that character before you go into chapter 3, because it's not that deep. Like it's a very surface level story. It's just enough to like keep you entertained to go from fight to fight and like boss to boss. That said, the voice acting game is really good, and the problem is a lot of these like handheld JRPGs I'll want to play like if I'm on a car ride or I'm traveling or something. But the problem is the voice acting is really good, so I want to sit there and listen to everything, and I can't do that everywhere. So I end up like waiting until I have time to sit down and play a game, and then it's always like, oh well, I'm gonna go play something else, not Octopath. So I want to sit down and play it. The problem is I can never like prioritize the time for it.
Right.
But for some reason, I'm doing that very thing I just said, prioritizing time to play an RPG with voice acting. Because the next thing on our list, Final Fantasy X/X over 2, or X minus 2, X over X minus 2, HD collection is arriving on Switch and Xbox One. Actually, no, it already came out last Friday. So I was originally I was going to play it on Switch, but I got super antsy 2 weeks ago when I had nothing to do all weekend. I was like, I really want to play Final Fantasy or something. So I booted up my copy for PS4, which I've been sitting on for more than a year now. So I started playing Final Fantasy X for the first time, and even though it's the HD collection, you could tell this is a PS2 game. I started texting my old roommate who absolutely loves Final Fantasy X, and I'm like, dude, the gameplay is great, and the graphics and the main characters' faces look nice, but everyone else looks like ass, and holy fuck, this voice acting is bad. Like, there are only 2 voice actors who are like pretty decent, and it turns out it's one of them is Tara Strong, who's in everything, and the other one is it's like something DiMaggio. He plays Bender on Futurama.
Oh, Joe
cool.
DiMaggio.
Yeah, he plays Waka, and he's probably like the best voiced character in that game. But like the main character Titus has actually the worst voice ever. So like, have either of you guys seen the Final Fantasy X laugh scene?
I was just about to reference that.
Yeah.
Ha,
So
ha,
I didn't realize that happens in like the first 4 or 5 hours of the game. I thought it would happen much later. But like the thing is, you're not even at the laugh yet. You're at like you go to the second temple and you get out, and completely unprompted, Titus says, "I just feel like screaming, ah!" And then the scene ends, and it just cuts to something else, and you're just like, "What the fuck was that supposed to be?" Like, I get that he's angry, but like that scene was so out of place. But the
You know
last
what I'm mad
criticism before we
about?
move on, the last
That-
criticism
Oh yeah,
is
what
that
is it?
the entire time the story's being narrated by Titus from the future, but they weren't quite sure how to make it clear enough, so they just had the voice actor drop his voice by like an octave. But the narration is so shitty, it would be like Titus
This
is talking
my
to someone,
story.
and he's like, wait, we have to travel all the way to the temple, and then the narrator cuts in. But little did I know that was just the first temple, and it's like, Jesus Christ,
my God.
shut up! Your narration is not making the story any better.
Hey man, I like that. I like that game.
So that said,
like that.
the game is a lot of fun. I really like the sphere grid as a leveling system, and I'm just like, I want to get more into it. I love it.
James Arnold Taylor is not a good voice actor.
So I said this already to my buddy. I'm like, I'm enjoying this game, but every time Titus says anything, I want to laugh. That said,
Yeah.
Auron's really fucking cool. He's definitely one of the coolest Final Fantasy
Auron
characters.
is one of the most badass video game characters I have ever seen, ever. You got his ultimate, right? Like his like not his ultimate weapon, but like his ultimate move.
Oh yeah, Bushido or whatever.
This motherfucker throws a whole jug of sake into a tornado.
Oh, I didn't get that one yet.
You
Now I'm
didn't
looking
you
forward to
didn't
this.
get that one? Oh yeah, because I played that game like super hardcore. So like, you know how like they're like the ultimate moves, and then they're like
Yeah, there's different ones for each character. I have to
like
figure
the
out what the conditions are for unlocking other ones.
yeah, those are the special ones. But his final one is he has the tornado, which you do with the Bushido,
Yeah.
and then there's the one where like he spits on his sword. Well, like he takes the flask though, instead of spitting on his sword with the sake, he throws it into the tornado, causing a flame tornado.
Wow.
Shit is dope.
Yeah, the game did cinematics great. Like I keep using the summons, but I forget that each summon has like a minute long cutscene when you summon them, and then if you use their overdrive, there's like a minute of shit happening. Like the second one you get, Ifrit, when you use his ultimate, first he fires this massive fucking fireball at your enemies, and then it creates this pillar of fire. And you're like, wow, that was a pretty big attack. And then you're sitting there like, how come it didn't do any damage? And then it cuts back to Ifrit, who rips out a huge just section of the earth and starts spinning it around Super Mario 64 style until he tosses it at the fire pillar that the enemy's in, and only then does it do the damage. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that was a lot of shit just to do 400 damage.
Did you know that you could turn that off in the settings?
I know you can make it shorter, but can you turn the whole thing off?
Yeah, like basically,
God fucking damn it.
you can just
All right.
because like next thing you know, he's picking up the thing, and then like all of a sudden they're hit. That's been
here's
like
the
a
thing,
feature
though.
since like 7, my dude.
So here's the thing. I want to see all the new ones. So I guess I'm just going to have to keep shuffling in and out of the menu every time I get a new summon before I try it out.
No, wait. So is this the first time you're playing Final Fantasy X 10-2 remake?
Yes.
Oh, so you're gonna be playing. So these are the international versions.
Yes.
Have fun.
But
I'm not playing with the stupid weird sphere grid. I'm playing with the normal one.
No. Even with the weird sphere grid, have fun. Have fun backtracking. That's my warning to you.
oh no.
Wait, what do you mean have fun? Like I know if you want to complete the sphere grid, you have to. But I thought that was just like a standard thing with it.
Oh
Is there
no,
something-
it's more than that. It's more than just the sphere grid. It's called getting your ass kicked.
What are you talking about?
You'll see.
No, we'll move on, and I'm gonna test you about this after the episode. Anyway,
So where are we at?
we are.
Oh yeah,
We're
this,
today
man.
surprise
How are we
announcement.
not? God, this is.
Because we spent a collective 45 minutes on Magic and Star Wars.
Hey man. Those
yeah,
are
we did
important.
pop off about Magic and Star
Those
Wars.
those are important.
So today, for some godforsaken reason, since Sony's not going to be at E3, they're like, fuck it, let's just talk about the PlayStation 5, even though we're not actually announcing it yet. Let's talk about what the
Let's
hardware
talk
is going
about
to
it
be
anyway.
without showing off anything else. And they gave out a bunch of different features in this one article that everyone's pretty much covering. I'm just going to rapid fire talk about these. first one is they're basing on Ryzen Generation 3 architecture. For anyone who builds computers, Ryzen Gen 3 isn't out yet. Ryzen Gen 2 is the current consumer grade processor. Gen 3 is in development, but it looks like Sony is releasing for the general public, I think, at the end of the year. In addition, they said it was going to support 8K. Who owns an 8K TV? I don't fucking know, but apparently
Who owns
this
anything
is
above a
1080p
1080p TV? I don't know. Games journalists.
4K is slowly creeping in. My dad now has a 4K
slowly.
TV, and he never upgrades shit. But
Slowly is
moving
the
on,
word.
the thing that's good about upgrading is that for the PS5, it's going to support standard SSDs. So if you want to upgrade your memory on or upgrade your hard drive size on your own, it sounds like you're going to be free to do it, which is great. Because that reminds me of how it was on PS3, where you just pull the drive out.
Man, remember on Xbox they had that like weird side thing that you had to get hard drives in?
Oh, the
360?
attachment thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they looked cool, but I like the idea of not requiring any proprietary stuff to upgrade your hardware. The big thing, and I know we were talking about backwards compatibility on Xbox One for original Xbox games, but the big thing for PS5 is that the actual like software architecture is not that much different from PS4, because I think it's all like PC, not x86, x64 based, whatever. Point is, there's nothing stopping it from running PS4 games, so it's going to run PS4 discs at launch. Which also kind of played into the fact that yes, this has a disk drive, it's not online only. Which I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking for a bit they were going to try that, because Sony really tried it with the PSP Go and backfired. Xbox is pushing out their download only model, which is more of just like the like consumer friendly Xbox One, which I get. It's not replacing the base model. But that said, PlayStation will have a disk drive. They did not confirm whether it's Blu-ray or something new, so we'll find out later.
Something new.
Last thing was they said ray tracing support, but that means jack shit right now, because no one has any ray tracing supported games or anything. Hopefully by the time this launches, we'll have some kind of ray tracing games. But then they did also confirm that it sounds like late 2020 is when they're expecting to launch it. So
Sounds about right.
yeah, it makes sense. We still got some time left with the current generation. As long as they all have 4K support, we're all fine. But once 2020 rolls around and everyone's pushing out these 8K TVs, we're gonna need some support for it.
Maybe these consoles will be future-proof for like the first time ever.
Lol.
Everyone except for Nintendo's will definitely be future-proof. All right. So, do we want to? Is this the actual topic for tonight?
What? Thrawns?
The Throne of Games? Yeah.
The Thrawn
Of
trilogy?
games.
God, I wish.
Wiener,
oh my
wiener
God.
party,
Wiener.
floppy wiener.
Wiener. So, Game
Yeah, I
of
mean,
Thrones
who watched
happened
it?
on
Did
Sunday.
we all
Anyway.
watch it? Did we all watch it?
I messaged the group and no one
Yes.
responded, but yes, we did.
Oh, did we? Oh, shit.
Oh, I
yeah,
assume everyone
nah.
did, 'cause I posted a spoilerific meme earlier today.
Oh,
about
yeah,
it.
That's why I
Leslie and I
asked.
watched it.
Yeah, I know you and Leslie watched it, and then I'm assuming everybody did because Freeman watched it and Luigi said he was going to be watching it. So we actually
Yeah,
almost didn't, but then Val was like, "We're not waiting till tomorrow." My sister gave me her login for HBO. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, we'll watch it now." And dude, that intro is pretty hot.
Yeah,
that
that was
intro
really
was
nice.
pretty hot. I'm not gonna lie.
I also gotta say, I don't remember if this was true for everyone, but I don't think there's ever been like, outside of like general wood shuffling noises, there's ever been like actual sound effects in the intro. And it was really telling that there was like, outside the music, of course, as always, and like the roar of when they're by the sun and everything, but when the swords come up out of this throne and it shunk, it's like, oh, that's like the only sound effect that's ever been an intro. I like those details.
So I'm going to pull this into the weeb shit short term. So for anyone who watches JoJo's Bizarre Adventure,
Oh boy.
the last 2 episodes of any given season, they have the special effects version of the opening, where every time someone does thing in the opening, there's a special effect for it. And it always makes the opening feel cooler. So watching this, I'm like, damn, they just ripped off JoJo for this season.
Well, maybe they need to get some anime inspiration because we got fucking dragons.
Dude, what's her name? Arya's going to do the teleport behind you, nothing personal, kid. I'm fucking telling you.
I gotta say, I was not in, and now I'm kind of back in.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been so long. I was like, I don't know how much I care anymore, and now I'm like,
think-
okay, fine. I want to see the last 5.
I think just hearing the opening song as it was airing on live television was enough to bring me back.
It was like, oh, hey, look, it's the music. We recognize. I gotta say, there's been a lot of good memes that came out of this episode already, though. Like,
I've only seen a couple. I gotta go looking for some more.
Fucking Brand.
Oh my god,
I mean,
him just being
the
outside
Dwight
the
and
whole
Angela
fucking episode.
No, did you see the Dwight and Angela one? The Office one?
No, I didn't.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, where she goes sneaks up
hold on.
on him.
There's
Brand.
Freeman, there's a scene in The Office where Dwight and Angela are this on again, off again couple, and there's this point where she wants to be with him, but they're at a bar and he's hitting on this other girl, and or he's like contractually obligated. Anyway, it's silly and complicated from The Office, but he's standing there looking at the other girl as she walks away, and then he turns his head and just sees Angela just creepily standing there, and he does like this shy away jerk motion like he's surprised. So someone created the meme where it's everyone in Winterfell, and then is Dwight, and Angela is Bran, and then you see everyone in Winterfell turn and Bran and go, fuck!
Fuck.
It's pretty fucking hot.
Fuck Brand. Like, I'm
kind of tired of him, honestly. He's a little
So I can't tell if his actor's really good or his actor's really bad. we're at that point.
For real though. Actually, it's annoying. All the reunions were cool and everything, especially the last one. I thought it was funny.
Like, Freeman, Leslie sent me a few of these. I'm gonna forward them to you so that you can see what the So I'll just post them in the Discord chat. I'll just pull them from my computer and just throw them in the Discord chat, because some of these are honestly pretty good. Let's see, how much is this gonna come on? Anyway, but yeah, it was really cool seeing a lot of the reunions. A lot of the reunions
no, it was good.
Were like, hey, these are pretty good.
A bunch of people at work who don't watch shows like, oh, was it the greatest episode ever? And I'm like, fuck no, it's the introduction of the final season. Like, you could have called this episode just Reunion, and that would be the perfect descriptor for what this was. This was the setup for this season's. Well, this episode itself was a payoff for all of these setups, but this was just like the setup for season 8.
Yeah. Okay. Also, I actually found this one way back.
All right, let's see this one. Oh god.
Fucking Jorah.
Friend zone for life.
It's so bad. That one's really good.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I can't wait for more spicy memes this season.
Up. Thanks for the sword, mate. Oh, it's nothing. Take my sword. Take my woman. Take my fucking life. Holy shit, dude. I can't. I'm dying.
But yeah, there's I can't find, my computer's being an idiot, but
the only complaint I had for the episode was they spent way too much time and way too much money on that dragon flight sequence.
Oh my god, and it didn't even look that good.
Yeah, but like
some of the scenes of Jon and Daenerys on the dragon, you're like, you guys are not moving around at all.
Like, it was definitely important that we established that yes, Jon can ride a dragon, but it was like we didn't need to have it's a whole new world from Aladdin sequence.
We needed to cut to the dragons hardcore staring at.
That was probably my only complaint for the episode. Other than that, it was all good.
I gotta say, what a way to end. Also, the amount of parallels to I saw this on Reddit a little bit, but the amount of parallels to the first episode of the show, like, this is Jon hasn't been back to Winterfell been back to Winter. No, he hasn't seen Arya.
He hasn't been there with his siblings.
Dude. Like, the whole kid running around at the beginning, like, that's exactly how Arya was in season 1, where she was running around like a little kid. And it's like, wow, damn, everything's. I think what was it? Episode 1 of the show was called Winter is Coming, and then this episode was Winter is Here.
Now that I think about it, you're right. There are a ton of
yeah. No, I only caught it because Reddit pointed out, and plus we watched a little bit of the after show thing where the directors were like, "Yeah, there's a lot of parallels we put in." But yeah, no, there was a lot of it was good. I kind of fuck Bran, man.
Dude.
He's just so creepy on purpose.
Look, man, he's gonna have his payoff next week. I want to see what he says to Jamie.
Dude, I said this to Leslie earlier. I was like, he's probably gonna go, so Jamie, I forgive you. I would not have had my eyes opened if I had been able to use my legs, or some bullshit like that. And I'm just gonna roll my eyes out of my head about how obnoxious this kid is.
Yep, that sounds
You know
about right.
he's gonna do it.
Yeah, because it was all.
He's gonna be like, losing my legs, opened my eyes, or something like that.
Losing my legs.
It's
God,
gonna be like,
Jesus.
It was all the Lord of Lights plan.
Seriously, or some. Oh my god. I will say the kid that was pretty creepy at the.
So my buddy noticed way before me that the kid was still alive, and he pointed. I'm like, "Oh God, he's still alive!" And then immediately he starts screaming.
I mean, the scene before when they showed him behind him, I saw the blue eyes open. I didn't notice him being alive before that, but it was only like a handful of seconds. But still, it was. As soon as the intro shows the blue like already at the town, you're like, "Well, this is not
That
gonna
was
go
cool.
well."
I hope they update it as it goes, showing
Show the
march
creep.
of the.
Show the literal creep from StarCraft.
Yo, for real.
God.
All right, we've already been going for an hour and 15. It's time to
too much of this Westeros shit. Let's go to the east.
Easteros.
Easteros, as we call it, Japan. Time for the Weeeb shit.
Oh,
All right, it's real short this week. The first one was we got a trailer for anyone who remembers Pokemon the first movie, a movie that defined my childhood and many others.
I agree.
Pokemon has decided that, you know what, we haven't cashed in on that Gen 1 nostalgia enough.
No, I didn't know
Let's just remake fucking Mewtwo Strikes Back. But it would be shitty to just do it in an anime, just like we did last time. Why don't we ease people into this CG Pokemon thing that we got going with Detective Pikachu and just remake the entire movie in CGI?
Oh my god.
Now, if it doesn't have the normal anime CGI problems. This is a full, like, 60 frames per second video render, which is great. It looks like an animated movie.
But wait a second. Is this live action like Detective Pikachu?
No, this is full CG.
Okay.
But the thing is, that's the problem. So the Pokemon look fine in CG. You played Pokemon Sun and Moon, you played Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Pikachu. They have CGI models that work. You just need to upscale them. The problem is when they decided we want Ash, Misty, Brock, Nurse Joy all in CG.
No.
I don't know who the fuck picked the art style, and I don't want to sound too, like, derogatory about this, but they all look like fucking Dustin from Stranger Things. I don't know what they thought they were doing.
I'm gonna watch the trailer right now. Oh my god, I just see what Ash looks like. I don't even want to click on
the
this.
Pokemon look cool.
Oh my god.
Mewtwo in like the mecha armor at the beginning of the movie looks great, but holy shit, Ash looks stupid.
Dude, I literally searched it on YouTube and I see Ash's face and I'm like, I'm not even gonna click on this.
Like I wasn't going to watch this movie because I don't typically watch the Pokemon movies anymore, but it's like now I don't even want to see like screenshots of this anymore. Like this
Mewtwo looks like ass, dude. Mewtwo looks terrible in these.
He's looked terrible ever since X and Y. They redid his render, and he just doesn't look cool anymore.
Dude, this looks.
He did not survive the swap.
Ash has like these chubby cheeks. There's like, hey Pikachu, why don't you Thundershock?
Oh God.
I'm not even clicking on this. It's the no, it's the old anime or nothing. Get the fuck out. Don't even
For real though, as much as we love Pixar, not in my anime.
How do you pander so poorly? How do you fuck up pandering to Gen 1ers?
I don't know.
Damn.
I don't know. But what I do know is that spring 2019 is upon us. All new shit's coming out all over the place. We got Hulu in the game with their exclusives this time. Ugh. Funimation has absolutely dominated the acquisitions this season.
Yeah, I know. I can't watch the Isekai Quartet because it's on fucking Funimation.
I went to go look at Crunchyroll's lineup, and holy crap, they got scraps or stuff that's just on every platform. This breakup with Funimation has been devastating for Crunchyroll. That said, I have a Funimation account, so it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Freeman, am I knowing what I watch? Am I close to switching?
Switching? You mean using both, right?
No.
Well, you're wrong. Anyway, so Funimation.
I'm asking a serious question, Freeman. I'm trying to make it into a thing.
So the thing is, I like Crunchyroll's back catalog more. Funimation, their back catalog is great for dubs, but they hold a lot of the older like pre-2010 anime. If you're looking for that. That said, I think I don't want to use this season as an indicator. I want to use next season as an indicator of if they have 2 seasons in a row where they hold exclusive rights to most of the big shows for the season, then only then I'll say that Funimation is the big buy over Crunchyroll. But I just want to make sure this season's not a fluke. But that said, Funimation has a lot of the cool shit that I want to watch. Like,
does Funimation have Shield?
No, they don't.
Oh, GG.
Well, that's the thing. Crunchyroll is the co-funder of the anime. They're on the production committee, so they did that regardless.
Well, I guess it is both then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Crunchyroll, or sorry, Shield Hero's only one more season. So
what?
Again, that'll tell you at the end of, or sorry,
Forever?
Shield Hero ends at the end of this season.
What?
So
Forever?
What do you mean forever? It's a 24 episode show. So at the end of this season, at the end of spring 2019, episode 25, Shield Hero ends. That said, there may be a Shield Hero 2.
Okay.
Why are you acting surprised? This is how anime works.
No,
I thought like forever.
Yeah, see,
Oh, fuck,
Freeman,
well, I know,
you're
it's an
following.
ongoing
No. You're following the anime retarded way of naming things, where they add a number to the show when it's another season.
Yeah, because it's a completely different production.
Shut up! You make it sound like.
Shut up! Do you want me to
knew,
skip ahead to the next
Freeman,
one to make it sound like it's not?
You knew that you made it sound like Shield Hero is done forever. Me and Tyler both heard that. You're saying Shield Hero 1 is over.
No, hold on.
Shield
No,
Hero
I
2
meant what I
will
said.
show up.
I meant what I said. Unless the second season is announced, it's as good as dead.
Yeah, I get that, but like, no, it can't be dead for.
Well, this isn't like American TV where they announce 3 to 4 seasons after the first season
Please
does well.
do it. It'll help me.
You're lucky if 2 to 3 years later they decide they want to do a season 2.
Yeah, I know.
So,
we've
I'm not
had
gonna
this
lie, I'm a
discussion
little
about
jaded.
Overlord.
And whenever a show ends, you just need to assume that's it and just
my
hope there's
God.
a second season.
Fuck
And this also
anime,
about the
man.
naming
Anime was a
scheme.
mistake. Like, come on. At
That
least
said,
give
you're
us
paying money to
something.
watch Shield Hero, so I don't think so.
At least My Hero gets it right. Jesus. At least they're
My
like,
Hero
yes.
is exclusively on Funimation, by the way.
Wait, really?
Yeah, my Hero has always been owned by Funimation. It was on
know it
loan to
has,
Crunchyroll as
but-
part of their partnership.
Oh my god.
Same with Attack on Titan. So when Attack on Titan comes
Wait,
back
now
in
I actually
3
do-
weeks from now, it's only on Funimation too. Like I said, Funimation owns the game right now.
All I know is fucking gotta watch more Shield Hero. We didn't even talk about the last 2 episodes, how, like, 2 weeks ago it was like, oh, this is fine. And then this past week was like, geez, back to salt, I guess.
So I'm listening to this one podcast where both of the people who run the podcast hate Shield Hero. And I'm doing this just because I'm curious about everyone else's perspective. And one thing they brought up that I'm actually concerned about now is they're, like, running out of ways to make Mine a villain without just making her the most, like, bullshit, evil character in
mean,
the show.
That's always been the case, though. Like,
But, like, it's getting worse. like, I'm just curious how many more times it's gonna be, like, she just
What a
lies and
bitch.
everyone believes it.
well, clearly the whole idea, though, is that that's not the case because he threw the cross back at Video Game Boy.
Yeah, I hope Kirito figures this shit out, because if they have a whole other arc of Mine tells some bullshit
That
lie
seems
and
impossible.
the entire
No.
country believes her.
No, it seems like they're really. I also think they recognize that, and they're pulling a lot more into she's not the villain, it's the church that's the villain. Because I remember the intro where there's the whole, like, solar flare from God thing that they block.
Solar flare.
Remember that beam strike, the thing?
From the
Remember-
opening?
Yeah.
I have to rewatch the opening.
The end of the
sequence.
opening is like he's standing there, and then a bunch of priests chant, and then a beam of light comes down, and he does like airstrike shield.
Oh, you're
and
talking
then
opening like the OP, not opening
Yeah.
like the first minute of the first episode.
No, yeah, the OP.
Oh,
God,
okay.
these
No, I gotta double
fucking
check it.
terms.
Well, anyway, no, it's
The-
very obvious the church is behind it, considering the church is called the Church of Three Heroes.
The Church of
No,
everyone.
I
but
know.
The Church of fuck Shield Hero.
But that's what I'm saying is they're turning it into like she is bad, but she's also kind of a symptom. Not that it's just her being a bitch. Like the whole church is against him.
That said, I'll reiterate the thought that there's only so much more they can do with this aspect
Everybody
of
hates
corruption before we get to some semblance of a resolution.
I mean, I think we need to see what happens with the queen and see where that goes.
I'm hoping that goes somewhere.
Because maybe she'll probably be like, oh, even though I run the country, somehow I'm also powerless to do anything against the church. Because my husband, even though he's an idiot. God, the fucking king. Oh my god.
This fucking kid.
I just want answers. We're on the 4th episode of him going, I refuse to let my family get split up, without any explanation of how does this
He
lead
didn't
to
even
your
say
family
split
getting
up.
split
He
up?
just said, "Not my family again," and then that was it.
Not my family again. Those damn dirty animal fucking faces.
Dude, we were talking about it in the chat. I hope Raftalia kills this fucking guy. I know she won't, but like, I would feel real good if she just straight up murdered this dude.
She ain't gonna.
I know she's not gonna,
She's
but
a
I still want her
wuss.
to.
I feel like all of
Same.
next episode is just gonna be her backstory.
It probably is. That's fine. Let's get it. Well, no, it's not fine, but I guess we gotta get it, so let's get it.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna wrap that up though. I can't see her killing him.
I just want her
Yeah,
to.
same.
Like,
I
God,
want her to. I
there's
can't
been
see her
so
doing
many evil people. Can we tick some of them off the fucking list, please? Like, my God, I want the count to go down.
Oh, they real quick. The anime subreddit did their seasonal waifus of last season, and Raftalia made it to the quarterfinals, but there was semifinals. But there was a huge push from everyone who loved all the girls from Kaguya-sama Love is War, and they ended up just dominating the top two.
I say,
So
I don't know.
Kaguya rightfully won, especially after the last episode. Oh boy. I was gonna sort of talk about that. I'll just talk about it right now. So I finished watching Kaguya-sama Love is War. And it did my least favorite trope that 12-episode animes do, where the first 10 episodes has no plot, and then episode 11 establishes a very minor inconvenience, and then in episode 12 they resolve it, so there's some semblance of like a conclusion.
Freeman, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like they took one of the arcs from Bunny Girl Senpai and put it at the end of a show.
Sort of. Pretty much. And
This is just
like,
funny because that show was like 3 pieces of different, like, here's an arc, boom, done. Here's an arc, boom, done. And it sounds like they just took one of those and put it at the end.
well, with Bunny Girl it made sense, but like this is super duper common for just like high school slice of life or comedy shows where it's just like fuck it, make it feel like there was a payoff in the ending, even though the first 10 episodes had no plot progression. And it was good, but then I learned the secret of the last episode, and everyone was talking about how insane it was when that particular chapter came out, because this is before it got licensed, so people were just fan translating it. And most people didn't have their own websites for putting up their fan translations. So the guys who would leak the chapters earlier would live translate it, and then they would upload it to 4chan as they're translating it. The thing about 4chan is there's a 2-minute cooldown between when you can post images. So everyone had to sit there, and normally a chapter takes you 45 minutes to read for 23 pages. It took this guy 46 minutes for two minutes page to post the whole chapter. So everyone has 2 minutes to read a single manga page and like react to it. And holy crap, this chapter was a fucking roller coaster. Like the mid page is the main character just like literally thrown on the side of the road saying there's no way like tonight could have gone this bad. Like there's no way a god exists if he would make us all suffer like this or some shit. And it was like the darkest panel I've seen in the comic. And then the last 10 pages are the biggest payoff I've seen. And then the very last page has like the most romantic shit I've seen in the anime, where they were rushing to see these fireworks, and the last panels are saying, I couldn't even look at the fireworks. I couldn't even like look away from like protagonist's face because she's in love with him. And then she starts to say the line, I couldn't even hear the firework, or no, sorry, my heart's beating so loud that and then the title of the chapter, and this is like part 2, which is, I think it's called I Can't Even Hear the Fireworks. So the last line is, my heart's beating so loud I can't even hear the fireworks. And it was this insane payoff that the anime just fucked up miserably.
Oh my
That
God.
I wish they had it as serious as that manga, but everyone was memeing about how when that chapter came out, the whole community was like flipping out. And someone made this video of just the live 4chan reactions to that chapter. That said, I'm going to read the manga now because that anime was really good, and there's no telling if there's a season 2. It might just be over, even though it did really well. But you know, these shows don't always do that great in season 2.
Oh God.
Which brings us to One Punch Man. So everyone saw it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
You didn't watch it yet?
Nope.
Oh man.
Tyler's protesting.
I'm not protesting. I just haven't gotten around to it,
Oh, okay.
honestly.
It's that the
So-
nope sounded sharp, like nope, and the don't plan on it.
So as we've talked about in the past, JC Staff took over for the whatever the fuck you want to call it, production committee that was associated with Madhouse in 2015. JC Staff is not known for quality, and it showed a bit during the fight scene in the first episode where we saw a lot of CG, a lot of still frames.
So
I told the guys in the group chat that they did a lot of clever editing with shots to make the CG not look quite as shitty as it does in other shows. That said, it's not great CG.
Coming from the guy who said the trailer didn't look that bad, this looked bad. Like Freeman, that shot of Genos at the end.
Yeah, it was pretty
Oh
ass.
my god, Tyler.
That said,
There's a beat up Genos shot where he's just standing there, and his like machine parts look like
look like garbage,
dog
don't they?
shit. Oh my god, it looked bad.
So
what are you gonna
their
say,
animators
Freeman?
just don't know how to do his robot arms. I don't know why it's so hard.
It
for
wasn't
them,
the
but
arms.
just...
It was like his face where the robot pieces were.
Oh, you're talking about the part where you see like his like
literally
face
at the
half
end
off?
when he's hanging out with the doctor and he's like, "Rebuild me better, idiot. Do it again."
Oh yeah,
and
where it's
again.
like it's partially ripped off. Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like his face was ripped off. I was like, "Oh my god, this is like pencil sketches. This is ugh." Where's the cool detail and the sleek look? And this looks like fucking flat and uninteresting and boring. And ugh.
I think they put all of the extra effort into drawing King's face during all of his
And
reaction shots.
oh my god.
I fucking love that plot line. I've been waiting for them to explain it for this whole time.
Boom, 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 boom. The King machine.
The fucking King engine. Holy
The King engine. That's what's right. Not the King engine.
That's it. The comedy was on point. I have hope that the writing is going to carry this season. I've given up hope of a good action scene. I'm not expecting it. So if one shows up, I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I'm not going in expecting one. I'm just hoping the comedy's there because I enjoyed Saitama and King's interactions this week.
One day I'll watch it.
I'm more interested to see what episode 2 is like. I gotta say, I didn't hate the comedy, but like, it kind of feels shitty to just start off after so long. Like, haha, like look at this fake bullshit. Just a reminder. I thought it was better to seeing Super Speed Sonic again. I was like, that's pretty good. He's the
It took me
kind
way
of
too long
cocky.
to realize that was him.
He's the cocky. Oh, I knew immediately. I was like, he's the cocky dickhead who would swipe these papers and throw them around for everybody. That's exactly what he would fucking do, and then just storm off. Like that was funny.
Yeah, no, it's good. What do I want to say here? Episode 4 is gonna be a telling episode because, as far as I know,
I'm not gonna make it that far.
1 and 2 were finished before the season aired. Episode 3 would be wrapping last week on a normal production schedule.
So 4
which
right
means
now.
starting with episode 4, they're doing the week to week, which can get shaky if they're having problems, which it sounds like Genos is going to be causing for this production group.
So I was actually going to say Shield Hero has had a few moments where it's like, oh, like Philo's
they've
face
had a couple
is
rocking
at
animations.
times like, oh, guys, what's happening here? What's happening?
Yeah,
Please don't do this.
This is partially we're starting to see the trend of like 24 episode shows just not existing, where they want to take a break between the two halves to kind of regroup and pick up. With Shield Hero, we're only 2 episodes out of when they theoretically would have taken a break, and we're starting to see some little bit of animation errors. So hopefully this doesn't drag on the rest of this show.
As long as the action scenes look good and like they look good up close, I'm kind of in Shield Hero. I'm kind of okay with it.
I'm here more for the story anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's okay, and that's why with One Punch, it's like, man, that action in season 1 was so fucking gorgeous. I kind of want to see that again.
Yeah, for real.
There's no Shield Hero baseline.
Whereas One Punch Man had the baseline set way too fucking high for what the studio can do.
Yeah.
That fight against Boros is like, that's like top 10 of all time. Well, I guess we're going to hand it off to this cheap studio.
JC staff.
Man,
anyway.
Remember when Boros like shoots the whole ship and then he punches it back and it was like so gorgeous and cool? And it was like, wow, this is awesome.
Yes,
I remember that. But yeah, I can't watch.
We all love season 1, Tim.
I cannot watch. I know. I cannot watch One Punch Man after this week because the day before One Punch Man started coming out, Freeman, I forgot that One Punch Man was Hulu only, and I canceled my Hulu subscription the day before One Punch Man started coming out, and I'm not fucking starting it back up just to finish One Punch. I'll probably go sailing at the end of the season if Freeman says it's worth it.
I hear some pirates in the distance.
But
Yar.
or I'll do that new Usenet thing I was talking about the other week. Yeah, I canceled Hulu because Brooklyn Nine-Nine's on a break, and I don't care enough about One Punch as of this episode, so... oh well, we'll see. Maybe I'll come back to
Hopefully Viz doesn't get too many more exclusive acquisitions that go onto Hulu. Funimation had toyed around with the idea of Hulu being their main platform, but after they just rebranded Funimation.com, it sounds like they canceled that idea and they want to have their own
brand,
like their own site. Like
their
that said,
own
I do expect them to start
streaming
putting
service.
things on Hulu after the initial simulcast or when the dub's complete, just because they are owned by a company that's in the Hulu partnership.
Right.
So that'll probably happen.
All right, we're almost there, Freeman.
Moving on to another completely different platforms exclusive. Netflix's Seven Deadly Sins. They announced that they're going to do a third season of the show. For viewers who watch on Netflix, you'll be confused because you think this third season already happened.
Oh, right, this whole
But you'd
thing.
be wrong because the third season's name is Seven Deadly Sins 2. Netflix, once again, fucked it up again. Season 1 happened. It was great. The OVAs come out, and naturally they brand it as Season 2 because there's no way this show's getting a Season 2. And then the show gets a Season 2, but they already wrote themselves into corners. They call it the third season. Or no, then they called it Seven Deadly Sins Season... Or Seven Deadly Sins 2 Season 1. I think that's what they tried to, like, walk
So
it
this is
back.
going to be 2-2.
So, but this is Season 3. So... Point is, the author has said that he plans on completing the manga within the year and that the third season would, in his words, lead to the story climax. And that has everyone asking the question, is it leading to the climax or is it going to cover the climax? Because if you're implying like, wait for season 4, then fuck you. Because I'm going to be honest here. I only have 5 more episodes in season 2, and this show went downhill so hard in season 2. Like, season 1, it started off with the everyone's too OP concept.
Right.
And then they fixed it by having the villain show up and be just as OP, so it was an even fight and everyone had cool attacks. But then they're like, oh shit, we accidentally unlocked the alien race that's 10 times stronger than us. Let's have a training arc to regain our power to be 10 times as strong so we can beat them. And it's just like, it's power levels the show right now, and I'm getting really annoyed with it.
Is it like the worst parts of Dragon Ball, it sounds like?
Sort of. It also doesn't help that every character is that cocky character.
Oh my god.
Like, imagine if everyone was Vegito. Like, that's what it feels like watching the show.
Vegito's only special because he's Vegito.
Like, a character be straight up losing a fight, and then one of his friends will show me like, you couldn't even beat him? I guess you need my help. And the other character who was literally laying facing on the floor bleeding 10 seconds ago will get up and say, you finally showed up. I could have took him without you. And it's just like,
now I can actually show you how good I am.
It's like you're killing any of the stakes there were for this show by trying to have like cool characters. That said, season 1's really good and I really enjoyed it, but holy fuck, this show is going downhill.
Damn.
But last thing I want to talk about, since we are in the heart of spring anime, I've only started one show so far. I talked about it a couple months ago called We Never Learn, which is ironic enough, it's the same plotline as the show from last season called Quintessential Quintuplets, where just the main character has 2 of these girls and it turns out he's gonna like fall in love with one of them. But this one doesn't have the promise of marrying one of them at the end of the show, so fuck it. In terms of other shows that are coming out, I think there's one called Fairy Lost, but it looks like this really like serious war anime. There's another one called like it's called The Old Man's Grandson, which I think is a shitty title because it really should be like The Philosopher's Grandson. It is a transport to another world show, but it's more of like you got reincarnated as a fresh person kind of thing, where he is taught by this old philosopher how to use magic, and then he gets into society and finds out that like he's way too good at using magic, so he has to like conform to the society that's not used to someone who's that strong. That said, this is totally a transport to another world, I'm the OP main character type show, but still gotta watch it because it seems like it's gonna be the one everyone's talking about.
Oh my god. According to r/movies, the live-action Minecraft movie is going to be released March 4th, 2022.
It's a live-action Minecraft movie?
Just wanted to throw that in there and make everybody unhappy again.
Anyway, the last show I was going to talk about, for anyone who's a fan of shoujo anime, famous early 2000s anime Fruits Basket is getting the Full Monogamous Brotherhood treatment and getting completely reanimated and redone so it's faithful to the manga. Funimation, Crunchyroll, they both have it. It looks really good. I plan on starting it this week. If any of our listeners for some reason have seen Fruits Basket, feel free to chime in, but I really don't expect our particular audience to be into that type of show.
Tyler, here's good news.
For the weeb shit.
That's it about the weeb shit?
That's it for the weeb shit.
All right, well, Tyler, I just saw also on r/movies, John Wick 3 confirmed R rating.
Implying it was going to be anything less.
I didn't think it would be anything else, but apparently it's for strong, pervasive violence.
No shit. Man.
Tyler, I
John
get it.
John Wick without strong,
Wait, what were the
violence.
last 2 rated?
Probably R. I don't know. I saw the headline. What do you want me to
Well,
do?
no, I'm just curious. I'm like,
No, I'm
I
telling
wasn't sure
Tyler.
if you guys. I wasn't sure if you guys knew that the previous ones were
No, they
PG-13. That's
definitely
why
are.
this is
They
big.
are. There's no question.
Yeah, the other two were also rated R.
But knowing studios and being like, hey, maybe we should tone it down and get more
Listen,
people.
if they did that, I would be
Tyler,
so.
why
guys
do you
would
think
not
I
hear
told
me.
you this? I am confirming your fears would not have to be founded.
No, I didn't. Number one, I didn't have fear.
Okay.
No fear.
Okay, the first
I
one
know.
was definitely
I know
R.
Keanu Reeves wouldn't do me wrong like that.
The second one was
Oh,
also
boy.
rated R.
And then
Yeah.
the third one is now too. Confirmed rated R.
Because all I'm saying is, if they ever did some heathenish shit like that, you guys would not hear me shut the fuck.
I know.
Like, you guys would be like, nah, I can't talk to Tyler for like another 2 months.
Speaking of not talking to Tyler, what are you doing
What am I doing?
for closing?
Shit, what am I doing? What's it called? My friends have started to try to get me to fish with them. And when I mean fishing, it's more
Oh God.
Like
I
for
pull-
fish, not for people, right?
It's like Homer
yeah,
fishing.
I pull out my folding chair and my copy of Time of Contempt.
Hell
And
yeah.
I'm just chilling.
Dude, you're going through the deep Witcher phase right now. It's great.
It's very deep.
The deep
It's very
Witcher.
deep.
Reading the books and playing the game.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. So that also gives an inclination of what I am reading right now.
Nice.
Shit, what am I doing? I'm trying to go to the shooting range. I feel like something important is happening this week. But I am forgetting.
I'm thinking. I mean, Endgame is next week, like I said earlier. But I can't
That's
think of
not
anything
important.
this
I'm
week.
not seeing it the week it comes out.
Really?
Yeah, really.
You're not being forced at gunpoint?
No. No, trust me. There are
Val
plenty
said,
of
"Oh, we didn't
people-
buy our tickets yet yesterday."
Oh, there are plenty of people who are like, "Oh, Bubba, you need to go we need to go see Endgame." I'm like, "Yeah, you and everybody else." But I'm trying to see opening weekend. Sucks. You want to see it with me? You're gonna have to wait a week at least.
Yeah, my crew and I decided after we waited to see Infinity War, and we liked going to a theater that was nice and quiet. And we have one friend who can't stand the like opening weekend fans cheering kind of atmosphere. So we're
That's
going
how
once
I
it's
feel.
cooled down. It's just normal people who aren't going to cheer at the screen.
Not gonna lie,
That's
we'll
me.
probably do one of each. Because with Infinity War, I'm pretty sure we saw it in theaters twice. Because we saw it open. Remember when I said I told you guys we were in DC for Alvin's wedding, and did I not tell you guys this?
Yeah, you guys went to go see it while you were there for his wedding.
Yeah, we went between actual like at the courthouse wedding and reception. We went and saw Infinity War with Ed, and it was like opening Friday day or like the next day or something. We saw it in the middle of the day. It was fucking great. And then we saw it. I'm pretty sure we saw it a second time in theaters.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm excited for the movie. I'm just like,
I
I'm
feel
not
like
about-
I feel like it's special when you get to go to those opening things sometimes.
No, I hate it. I hate those
Okay.
people.
I mean, I would never do it for an anime movie or anything like that.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I had a hoot at the fucking Hero Academia movie. Doing like I wasn't expecting it, and then I forgot what audience there was for this movie, and I just kind of enjoyed it. I had fun with it. But that
No,
said, I don't go
no.
for Hero Academia for serious plotline. I go there to watch the fucking
Double Detroit to smash.
Like that's what I go for. I go for the hype. But there's so much on the line for Endgame that I want to sit there and enjoy it, and
That's
I don't
fair.
want to hear people like applauding when Tony Stark shows
I'm
up
kind
on
of
screen for
tempted
the
to
first
ask
time.
Val like what her half day is for the week after next, and be like, hey, why don't we go? I'll leave work. I'll take a half day, and we go during the day because there's gonna be spoilers everywhere. Even though the Russos put out a letter saying, please God, don't spoil this movie.
So we were talking about this before you came on when Tyler was setting up his Reddit. I was telling him I'm like seriously gonna have to unsubscribe from multiple different like meme avenues I'm subscribed to because I can't risk the spoilers.
Mhm.
Like the Danking Summit is banning anyone who spoils it in the first week.
Good.
But the problem is they're very lenient about what a spoiler really is. Like the first week of Infinity War, they're like no spoilers, but they let everything slide where someone's like, "Mr. Stark, I don't feel so well," and it's like, okay, well, there's two characters who would feasibly say that line. Thanks a lot. So I got spoiled to that part of it, but I don't know. I may just
Yeah,
have to give up
that's some
memes, which is
bullshit.
like worse than Lent.
I don't know. But yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything else.
Well, you're playing Witcher
My
still.
life is boring as fuck.
Still playing Witcher.
I am still playing The Witcher.
You're like, I beat this game. Now I gotta beat this game.
Yeah, I beat this game. Now I gotta beat this game.
I gotta beat the rest of this game.
And then I got other games on my stack. Because I also have Sekiro.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
also
Hell yeah.
bought I was telling Freeman I got the Phoenix Wright trilogy on the Switch.
Oh, damn.
So that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Freeman, you do anything?
So I'm playing Final Fantasy X right now. It's probably gonna take up a couple weeks. I don't know how long the game is based on where I am in some of the item guides. It makes it look like I'm halfway through the game, but there's no way in hell I'm halfway through this game. That's going on. Overwatch has the event as we talked about. I gotta grind
We'll
out
be
some loot
playing that
boxes.
as soon as we get off the podcast.
Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be near a computer during the last week of the event, so I gotta grind out the loot boxes while I can. Trying to think of anything else big is happening. Wrapped up several animes. I already talked about Kaguya Love is War. I'm finishing quintuplets this week. There's something else big I finished. What the hell was it? Give me like 3 more seconds for my anime list to load so I can tell you what the hell I finished this week.
I thought it was just something in general, but no, it's just an anime.
It was... Oh, it was the Phoenix Wright anime. That's what I finished. Staying on top.
Yeah.
So the second season of the anime is way better than the first one. It did a really good job of adapting their third game. That's why the Phoenix Wright anime is pretty trash. If you're curious about the series, definitely play the game like Tyler's going to. But then I'm halfway through Domestic Girlfriend. I've already talked about the show way too much. Luigi and I are both watching. The show is hot garbage. This is like if you enjoy like Real Housewives of whatever city it is, like this is that kind of like trash reality anime, and I love every second of it. So I'm on episode 7 of that. I'm probably gonna wrap that up too. But that should be it for me. Passover starts on Friday, so I might actually do some cooking this next week. So I have to figure out how to survive without bread for 8 days. And bread-related products.
I forgot.
Including but not related to beans, rice, corn, and corn-related products. So it's really limiting.
It's just a little. It's
Yeah.
okay. You now have the internet, unlike when we were in school.
Now I have a slow cooker and a pressure cooker, so I'm really looking
There
at
you
those
go.
recipes. Listeners, if you have any fun kosher for Passover recipes, feel free to put them in the comments.
Jeez.
But that's it for me.
As far as what we're doing, really not much. Val and I haven't even really been watching much. I've just been kind of throwing Marvel movies on the TV again at nights just for fun, just because. Just like we prepped for Infinity War, it's time to prep for Endgame.
Are there any you're watching like repeatedly?
No. We're just watching every. Like we rewatched Thor Ragnarok yesterday. Watched Spider-Man: Homecoming the other day. Black Panther. Infinity War was like 2 weeks ago.
Infinity War.
Just kind of dawdling around. We've been watching a lot of Queer Eye on Netflix. That show's
Hell
actually
yeah.
really good. I actually didn't even know what it was. I just
Married
remember
people freaking shows, dude.
What?
The hell? Next thing you know, we'll be watching HGTV.
You'll be watching This Is Us.
That sounds fun. No, not that. I thought you were talking about like the home network. I thought you were gonna make like a home.
Too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, dude. It's like you come home. We both get home right at the same time, and it's like, hey, we can watch stuff for like 1 hour, and then it's time to make dinner, and then something's happening
Yeah,
because
you
I have the
watch Queer
podcast.
Eye.
I have the
Nothing like that.
podcast, or you guys have your D&D game, or we all have our D&D game, or I go to Magic, and that's like 4 nights a week right there. Bam.
So you guys are spending an hour watching Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. I'm sitting here watching Waifu Eye for the Anime Guy.
See, I'm also working out during that time, so I can't stare at subtitles. That's part of it too.
Excuse us.
Yeah, that's-
badass.
Yeah.
Freeman goes to the fucking
Well,
gym.
no, so
I'm
I
not
agree
even able
too.
to. I don't even do
The
that.
number of times I've thought about trying to watch anime while at the gym is a lot. Like
Yeah.
I only pulled it off once. I was watching the show Yowl Paddle, which is a sports anime about bike racing, and I would try to watch it while I was sitting on like one of the exercise bikes. So they don't rattle that much when you're exercising. And the thing is, you don't have to read the subtitles for that show. You know exactly what's happening. That said, I fucking hate trying to read subtitles while I'm running.
Well,
So
there you go. Imagine
don't
trying
do
to
that
like
anymore.
do push-ups and sit-ups and crunches and stuff while you're also trying to pay attention to a story anime on the TV. It's like, nope,
that's when
rather
you
just
subscribe to Funimation and get access to all their dubs.
or you could just watch other shows on Netflix that are in English natively and are kind of fluff and just happy and not super serious.
Yeah, one of those
Anyway,
sounds like a good idea, one of those sounds like a bad idea, but moving on.
as far as playing, I'm still working on the Sins LP. I haven't been on my computer much. I still need to sit down. Freeman, like I said, we should really try to figure out if we could record sometime. Do like a sit down once War is spoiled on Friday. I don't know if we'll have time. I'll do something even if Freeman can't. I'll do like a live stream or something where I just work on commander decks with the new cards. But
I got time during the day on Sunday if you want to do a set review.
that could probably work. Well, actually, would it be a set? I was thinking more like commander upgrade session instead of / set review.
We
Either
could.
way,
I just haven't looked over my commander picks.
That's
yet.
fine. That's fine. Yeah, we'll do like a magic thing on Sunday. Maybe either record like a screen or maybe even live stream it. I don't know. But the other game I was playing was Neo, and I say was because I think I just hard stopped playing Neo.
Damn.
I
We were
was
talking about like not really being into it that much.
So I was super into it weeks ago, and it's still a really fun game. And then during this last session, I started recording the other day on Saturday morning. I was recording, and I suddenly was in a mission where there were lots of technical hiccups where the game would just like stutter during a fight, and it was of course right next to an enemy who would two-shot me. And if he hit me, I was basically guaranteed to die, and I died about 10 times to this one just like mini boss level enemy because the frame would just stutter in this one place over and over, and it was super annoying. Then I got to the boss of the mission, fought her once, died. She's got interesting moves. Fought her twice. Man, I feel like I'm really not doing any damage anymore, am I? Like, I feel like my damage output is just crazy low. And then I fought her a third time, and she did an execute move on me, and the game hard locked. And I was like, Alt F4, I think I'm done with Neo. No joke, that's what happened. So, I think I'm going to start recording another Let's Play tomorrow instead of Neo. I've also just had really bad output on YouTube lately. I've had lots of missed days and stuff. Honestly, it's been between, like, only having 2 consistent days in the mornings on weekends sometimes. Sometimes I just feel it's nice to just wake up and not record for an hour and a half playing video games. And then, like, Sins is fun, but it's not super long. And Neo just kind of burned me a little bit real hard, so I don't know. I think I know what I'm going to play next, but I don't know. This happens all the time where I like wax and wane on how much I'm focused on doing like YouTube videos and stuff like that. And it's just kind of waning a little bit right now, but it doesn't mean I don't want to do it. It just means it's just lower on the priority poll for me. Like I've been kind of doing a little bit of job hunting and like trying to, eat healthier and like I said, work out a little bit, so kind of focusing on myself a little bit in that regard, and still taking care of Val and spending time with her and Magic and both D&D games and podcasts, and then it turns into like, hey, here's like 2 minor blocks where you can play games, or you can just relax and play a game for fun.
Wait, are you in another D&D game?
No, I'm just saying like you guys have your other game, but like last week I live streamed instead of actually recording, so I put out 1 video for then, and then I didn't have anything for a few days. But yeah, I know it sounds a little woe is me, but it's just the way it is, but it's okay. I'm not unhappy. It just means I put less videos out on YouTube, but I'm sure I'll find something.
I don't know if you can see this from Ohio, Tim, but I am playing the smallest violin
There it is.
for you.
Turn up your volume. I can't hear it.
But yeah, no. But yeah, not much else. I haven't been reading a ton lately. I actually picked up, Tyler, I don't even know if you know these exist. Did you know they had novels for the Doom games way back in like the old Doom days, like 20 years old? They have like 20-year-old Doom novels, and I bought the first one because I actually owned the second one in paper. I remember buying it with my dad at Barnes & Noble like 10 years ago at like $1 rack. bought the first one on Kindle, and it's like, man, this is just kind of like reading a guy playing a shooter. Like, we went down the hallway and we shot him and we had some banter and then we found a health pack and then this and this and this. And it's like, we found ammo and we ran out of ammo and we found ammo, and I'm like, this is a little... This is not actually super engaging. So I don't actually know what to read right now. I was actually going to ask you guys for some book recommendations. But I've already read everything Tyler ever recommended, because he recommended Name of the Wind and Witcher, and I'm ahead of him on Witcher now. So
yeah.
But that's an issue for another day. I just got to find a book to sink my teeth into. I don't know.
Listeners, if you have any book reviews, feel free to put them in the comments.
Throw something in.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Did you read that?
No, I have not actually.
Okay.
Regardless, though, we're going to end the podcast here so we can get some Overdank time in before Freeman's got to get off.
Yeah,
the
it's time to
talkie
be
talks.
real gay.
But we're going to end the podcast here. Thank you all so much for listening. My name's Timpedia.
I'm Friedman.
It's just Tyler.
And we will catch you guys maybe next week.
Maybe?
Thanks for listening.